Hi everyone, this is Chef Bryan cooking fresh with Klondike brands and Johnny's seasonings. And today I'm going to share one of our featured recipes from the road that you can find on the Johnny's Be Good tour. Today I'll be showing you how to make a delicious homemade stew featuring the Klondike family of potatoes, Johnny's famous Auju sauce, and a few other fresh ingredients you probably just have lying around your kitchen. So grab those aprons and let's get started. Today's recipe is a stew, and I love stews because they're a comfort food. Everybody enjoys them. Plus, they're easy in the kitchen because you can use up things that maybe you've been cooking all week long and just add into the stew itself. So with these fresh ingredients, I just have some sliced up onions and bell peppers that I had used, and I just want to put them in the stew here. You don't have to slice them like this if you don't want to. You can put them in chunks. So it's really kind of fun however you want to. So some carrots, peas, corn, mushrooms. I have some other bell peppers that are chopped a little bit differently, some celery. I have some beef cubes here, and a little bit of salt and pepper, of course, is adjusted to your own taste. Now, the key to this recipe are the potatoes. I'm using the Klondike Rose and the Klondike Gold Dust potato. And the nice thing about these potatoes, you don't have to peel them, and I love that because it saves time. Plus, all of the nutrition is still in the skin. And look at the beautiful colors. They have that golden, buttery, creamy texture already, and they add colors to the stew that I don't even have to worry about because remember, I always say you eat first with your eyes, and we definitely have the colors. Now, the soups, stews, whatever you're making, it's the base that is also very important because it's the flavor of whatever it is you're creating. I'm going to be doing something that's a little bit different today. I'm going to be using actually an Auju base. You may not know it by that name, but if you've ever had a Subway sandwich or a French dip sandwich that you dip in that beef broth, that's Auju. And all I'm going to do is just simply add this into it for some great flavor. It's as easy as that. So when I make a soup or a stew, what I talk about are these flavor spectrums, building up a flavor spectrum. And to do that, what I do is start sauteing things right in the pot that I'm going to make the stew in, because you create this nice caramelized portion from the foods that you're cooking. So first, let's add a little bit of oil into our pot, because I want to saute up the beef. And these are just beef cubes. If you have a leftover roast or some steaks that you want to use up, just cut them up and add it into a stew. It really is that easy. So let's add those into there and get those starting to caramelize. Now, what I mean by caramelizing is the outside of that beef is going to turn brown. That's what it is. And that's going to add flavor. Also, there's going to be a light little patina on the bottom of my pan. You may hear chefs talking about deglazing a pan. Well, that's what we're doing actually, is bringing all of the flavor that's up there on that pan into the dish that we're making. So this is what I'm doing with the beef here. So let's get a nice color on those beef cubes first, because remember, when you're boiling something in a soup, it's not going to caramelize like that, so you want to do it at the first. So let's build up that flavor spectrum. It's already smelling great. I love stews. Now, once you get a nice caramelization on the beef in there, what you're going to do is start to add in the other ingredients and build on top of the flavors. So let's start with our onions and bell peppers. Let's add those right into the stew. There we go. Let's put in the other bell peppers. And this is nice because you have different sizes of things in there. Remember, visually, everything that's different is appetizing to the sight. I can smell all of that aroma coming up. Let's add our celery into it. Start to mix that around. And just letting this kind of warm up, all of these flavors come together. Notice I'm waiting just a little bit before I add the next ingredient so that I'm starting to build all of these levels of flavor. Okay, next let's go ahead and add in our mushrooms. Mushrooms are so interesting. They're actually a flower of fungus, believe it or not. And what you want to do when you're cooking mushrooms in a stew, you don't need to saute them down and really caramelize them, because I want all of that liquid from the mushroom to flavor the stew. So that's why you don't add them in at the very beginning. And I'm getting a beautiful patina on the bottom of the pan here, which will deglaze with the au jus concentrate and some water. I'll show you. Last but not least, let's put in our carrots, some corn. And the nice thing about this, if you don't like any of these ingredients, you can change them. Our peas and our potatoes. So all of the ingredients are in there. And I always kind of laugh because, I have a lot of friends that will say, oh, this is one of those dump dinners. And what that means is you literally dump everything into a pot and you have dinner. I love that. It's easy. All right, these are coming together nicely. Now all we have left to do is to create the base or the stock for this. And I'm going to be using some of the Johnny's Famous au jus sauce. And this is how easy it is to create the base. We're just simply going to add this into it. There we go. And you can use this for a lot of things. You can put it like on a Sunday roast if you're doing that, on hamburgers. This also comes in a powder form that you can sprinkle on your hamburgers before you want to grill them. It just puts that beef flavor. So really anything that you want to add a great beef flavor for, you can use the Famous au jus sauce or even in powder form. It's a really quick and easy way. Now I'm just going to add water. And you want to just add enough to come right to the top of everything that you have in the pot. Don't add too much because then it's more broth than ingredients in it. And I kind of like more ingredients than broth sometimes, so especially when it comes to a stew. And now what this is going to do is it's going to deglaze that pan. All of those flavors that we got in there in sauteing and building this whole level of flavors in the stew are going to come up into it. The famous au jus from Johnny's sauce here is going to just create a nice rich base, and we've got a fantastic stew. Just cover it up, let it stew for about 30-40 minutes till everything is cooked through, and dinner is ready. The stew's been cooking now for about 40 minutes and it is ready to go, and it's just filled the kitchen with these wonderful aromas of comfort food. I love it. Now one thing I do want to tell you, if you want to thicken up the base of it a little bit, if you like a little heartier, just simply add a flour and water slurry right at the end here and get it to the consistency that you would like to do it. Now when I serve a stew, I do like to use a rather open-faced bowl like this one because it opens up the color so you can see it. Oh, that looks just beautiful. Let's get some more of those Klondike potatoes in there too, because a stew to me isn't a stew unless you've got a lot of potatoes. Oh, that looks perfect. Let me just grab a towel here, wipe off the edge of that bowl, and that's ready to go to the table. Oh, a beautiful stew with the Klondike Rose and Klondike Gold Dusts, and I use Johnny's Famous au jus sauce. It doesn't get any easier than this, guys. I'm Chef Bryan, cooking fresh from the road with Klondike brands and Johnny's seasonings, and I look forward to sharing more family recipes with you all in the future. I'll see you next time.